came up to me. He bothered me, but I definitely was crashing out. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and go ahead and hit the post notification bell so you do know when I post a new video. And we are on a road to 2K. So if you enjoy the content in this video, please go ahead and subscribe. Let's get into it. So boom, once upon a time when I was dating, I met this guy. We're gonna call him James. And I met James in a Dollar Tree. I'll never forget. It was in the summertime. And he asked for my number. Mind you, he was disturbing my peace. He got my name, my number, and he was asking me was I single at the time. And I told him, yeah, because I was single. I remember I was on the phone at that time when he had came and tried to talk to me. And I was on the phone with my mom or whatever, and I got off the phone with her just so I could see what he was talking about. Because I did notice him when he came in. I was like, oh, he's handsome. You know how you are out and about, you minding your own business. You may see a little eye candy, but after that, you just let it go. You're just like, okay, he's cute. And then you go back to what you was doing. That's what type of time I was on. Because my mom and them had already sent me to the store. It was like a cookout we were having. And she sent me to the store for some like paper plates or something. Just something small or whatever. So I got all that stuff, or I gathered all that stuff, and, you know, we exchanged numbers. He was like, I'm going to hit you up later. So, boom. Like, I'm heading back to my mom's house because that's where we're having a cookout at or whatever. And he was texting me or whatever, like, asking me questions, you know, the general questions, like, you know, so why are you single, da-da-da-da, all that type of stuff or whatever. So, fast forward to us talking for a month. We went somewhere. And I remember praying for my food. I remember him looking at me weird as I was eating my food, like I was doing something wrong. And that's one thing I want to address, like in the beginning of this story time. Like he would always stare at me. Like when I was eating, he would just be staring at me like something was wrong with me. And I'm not a smacker, you know, none of that. I take my time and I eat and I enjoy my food. So, but he was just looking at me like, you know, at the dinner table or whatever, when we were eating, we're on our date. But at that time, we didn't really have that much conversation. I do know I asked some questions, you know, the usual. So I asked questions. That date went cool. That went cool or whatever. Fast forward, us spending time together, like, it was still within the first month. Like and this is before things got crazy in the world. Like he came and picked me up, stuff like that. Like we would watch movies, things like that. Like just normal stuff that you would do with people. And I remember this one particular night, and this is why you don't rush into stuff with people, because this man asked me, let me tell y'all what happened. So we were only talking for a month, barely 3 weeks. It had to be like towards the end of the second week of us like hanging out or whatever. And he had dropped me off or whatever. And he headed back to his car. So I was about to open my door, go inside of my apartment or whatever at the time. And he ran back up the steps and was like, hey, can I ask you something? And I was like, okay, cool. This man asked me, will you be my girlfriend? Or can I be your boyfriend? In my head, I'm like, I know he must be joking. Like, because what are you talking about? Can you be my boyfriend? I barely known you 2 weeks. And that's what I told you. I said, I don't even know you like that to be your girlfriend. I feel like he went downstairs to get up the courage or the confidence to come and ask me that. And I was like, no. And in my mind, that should have been a red flag, and I should have cut him off then. Because you know why? Because that means his intentions are not pure. In a week or two, you trying to be my boyfriend already? Y'all remember that. Remember that part. So I told his ass no. it was a smooth no for me. And I was just basically like, I want to take my time with getting to know you, things of that sort, blah, 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 right? So some time goes by. We're still, chilling with each other. We're in month 2 now. We're chilling with each other. My mom is asking me, who's this guy? Who's this guy that you're, going on dates with, spending time with? And I don't like to tell my mom or my parents, I'll say, about someone I'm dating unless it's actually, it's in stone, like we're exclusive and all that. And this particular story time is why. So in month 2, we were like going on dates. We were we're going on dates. He met my mom. I met his daughter. He met my daughter. He was going to church picnics. Mind you, this man, he had a lot going for himself. He was a correctional officer. He had his own stuff together, which is good, and I believe that everyone should have their own stuff together. But he had his head on right too. Like he had a mindset like, okay, he seemed like he was intentional. That's what he was giving off. But I found out that he wasn't intentional later on. So yeah, like I said, we're going to cookouts and just doing things together, like, when you're getting to know people. And like once we started and introducing family, his children or his child and my child, we started introducing them. That's when we knew okay, we're gonna go to another level or whatever. So we, I guess, became exclusive. At least in my mind, we never actually directly said it, but we were doing everything that a person in a relationship would do. We're doing everything that a person in a relationship would do. And you can read between the lines. We're doing everything. And so time went on. We would have little spats or little disagreements because he was bad with communicating. And I was telling him something's bothering you, let me know. It's every time we had a disagreement or something, he would just stare at me. He would just be like, and I was like, you gonna say anything? Do you have anything to say? And he was like, it's everything was one-sided. When something was I don't know, it was just one-sided. It was just weird. And then I remember on up to the part before we got exclusive. Well, in my mind, we were exclusive. We were riding in the car, and I'll never forget. We were talking about something sexual, and I felt uncomfortable, and I told him I wasn't ready to have that type of conversation. And he flipped the script, and he was like, we're grown, we can talk about this, but you're not about to make me talk about something I'm not ready to talk about yet. Mind you, that was in month 1 or 2 weeks in, and you're already talking about that. That was red flag number 2. Because the first one, you asked me to be your girlfriend within less than a week. The second one, you talking about sexual we went on a date that day, and you're arguing with me in the car on your way dropping me off because I said I won't feel comfortable talking about that. And the crazy part about it, that's how it happened. He asked me to be his girlfriend on the night that I told him I don't want to talk about anything sexual. So you see how those coincide with each other? The night that he asked me that was the night that he asked me to be his girlfriend. And I was like, no, it's too soon. What are you talking about? You're doing too much. So, boom, let me get back on track. So, back to month 2, because that was all happened in month 1. Back to month 2, like I said, we spent the time together. And we were having a few disagreements and stuff like that about certain things, communication wise or whatever. He would say he would be here at this time and he wouldn't show up until an hour later, or he would keep me waiting hours till he came. And then when I addressed it to him, he would be like, I had this and that to do, and you knew I was on my way. No, he said, you knew I was on the way, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, I didn't, because you didn't communicate anything with me. So, but I would address my feelings to him and all that stuff, but he would just look at me like I was stupid. That's basically how he would be. He didn't communicate back. He didn't give me no feedback or nothing. He would just look at me like I'm crazy until I stopped talking about it, and then we would just move on. So, y'all like, Ashley, this should have been your stuck on stupid story time, but yeah, that's how that was. But fast forward. So at this time I was working for an insurance company. This is going into month 3. And I'll never forget the day that he said he wanted a break. And I'm like, we're not having no break, because when people break up, they start doing all kinds of stuff. So we don't need to break. A break means we're not going to be together no more. That's given I don't want to be with you no more. So I'm like, I don't want no break. We don't need a break, blah, blah, blah. He's insisting we need a break. Mind you, I'm walking into work and I'm already not having a good morning. I'm not a morning person. And he calls me with this. I'm getting off the elevator, walking back, about to walk into the office. So I start tearing up and I'm talking to him on the phone. I'm like, don't do this now. I'm heading to work. Like, you're telling me all this information and, you know, we can talk about it, da da da. And he was like, don't, you know, get upset. Don't cry or whatever. I'm just like, you know, that we just need a break though. That went in one ear and went out the other. So I got off the phone with him. I went to my desk. I'll never forget. I was talking to my best friend at the time about the situation. I had PTO that day. I hadn't even logged in for at least about an hour. And I took PTO. Or a matter of fact, I don't even think I took paid time off. I was so in a frantic. Like, I was so in a state. Like, I was really about to lose my shit. Like, I was really in a mind state of, like, why are you playing with me? Like, I will pull up on you. Like, that was my mindset at that time. That was my mindset. So what I did, I logged into the computer. I took PTO. And, you know, I told my homegirl bye. You know, I'll keep her posted, whatever. So what did I do? I got in my car and I drove over to his spot. So let me give you a little backstory. I never met any of his family. Now, this may be crazy. And this is real crazy when I think about it. I never met any part of his family except for his daughter. Like, I never met his dad, his mom, whomever, like, on his side. But he met my people on my side, or whatever. So, boom. I came to his house, and he drove a Camaro, nice car or whatever, nice decked out car or whatever. It was souped up or whatever, nice car. But he stayed with I think he stayed with his dad at the time. Yeah. He stayed with his dad at the time. And I pulled up that particular day. And I was just expecting to see his car. So his car was pulled there. It was just his car in the driveway. His dad was not there or anything like that. It was just him. So I rung the doorbell and I sat on the porch with my hands folded like this. He opened the door and I was like, we need to talk. And like, his face like it dropped because he didn't know that I was going to pull up on him. And I did. And so he opened the door. I walked in and I sat on the couch and I was like, so what's up? Why do we need a break? He could not tell me why we needed a break. He would not tell me. To this day, even if I think back to it, even though I was evaluating myself, if I did anything wrong, if I whatever, like, he could not tell me why he needed a break. And I kept asking him. Time was going on. I was trying to pull out words out his mouth, conversation or whatever. He looked like he was annoyed with me. He looked like he didn't want to be around me. He looked like he was disgusted by my sight, the sight of me. He looked like he just didn't want to be anywhere near me. And while like he was trying to like open up or whatever, at that time his dad came through the door. And his dad walked in, and I knew I never met his dad before. Like, I never ever met him. So I stood up on the couch because I didn't know like he was supposed to have company in his house or not. So I stood up and I was like, "Hi, how you doing?" He was real nice though. I was like, "Hi, how you doing? I'm Ashley." And he shook my hand. "I'm Ashley. I'm James' friend." I want to say I'm his girlfriend, but I'm just like, I know he probably didn't introduce me like that to his dad. I don't even know if he told his dad about me. So at this point, I'm just being like nice. I'm being respectful because this is his house and he don't know me from a can of paint. So his dad is bringing in groceries while we're still trying to talk or whatever. He was like, come on, let's go outside. So I goes outside. His dad brings the rest of his groceries in. I told him, have a nice day. Nice meeting you or whatever. He was like, oh, nice meeting you too, Ashley. Have a good one. So he came outside. He sat on the porch, and well, he didn't sit down. I was the only one sitting down on the porch. He was standing up in the corner of the porch and just looking at me like, and I was like, so like, what are we doing? He was like, I just need a break. I need some time. And I was like, well, how much time do you need? He wouldn't tell me. He was like, I'll let you know. In my mind, like, I was so upset. I was like beating myself up, picking myself apart. I was doing all that. Like, it was real bad. Like, when I think back to that part or to that day back then, it was real sad, and it was giving real desperate that I wanted to talk to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was giving real desperate because I'm begging this man, trying to figure out a reason why he don't want to be with me anymore. And when somebody says that I want to be with you, I should have took that and just been like, okay, well, it's nice knowing you, whatever. I didn't let it go at that time. I didn't let it go. Like, when I say I started crashing out, I was like, I was doing drive-bys at this man's house, see if he was there. Did he have any other people's car there? Like, and these were like on days after the fact. It took me a long time, and I grieved this. And I wouldn't even really call this a full-blown relationship or whatever. I wouldn't even call this a relationship, but I felt that we were exclusive because, like I said, we were meeting family members. He never came out his mouth. I guess I assumed too much, and that's what sometimes us women do a lot. We assume instead of asking questions. And the crazy part about it, I'm very direct as a person, and I didn't ask him any of those questions like, what are we doing type stuff. And me, like I said, I like intentional people, especially if I'm trying to date you and we want to be more than friends. Like, I need you to be intentional in telling me what your intentions are. Like, and he showed every sign that he wasn't ready to be in a relationship. Like, from the beginning, from him rushing trying to make me his girlfriend. Like, he wasn't serious. He just wanted to see what he can get. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't serious in regards to that. But yeah, I was crashing out. I was staking out at his house. I was driving by just to see, if his car was there. What else was I doing? I had blocked him. I had unblocked him, calling from blocked numbers, or I was just doing it all. Like, it was just, and I had to stop. It was like, Ashley, okay, this happened, and I had to weigh the pros and the cons, the good and the bad. You know what I'm saying? I had to weigh those out to know, like, don't lose yourself over this person. He already told you he didn't want you in so many ways. It's just that you didn't want to believe it, or you didn't want to see it. I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to see it because I felt like everything was going so smoothly. I felt. And in a long time, during that time when I was dating, no one had gotten that far with meeting my mom and meeting my daughter. And, at the time when I was attending a church, coming to church picnics. Who the freak do that? Like, you did all that to not want anything long term. And don't get me wrong, he could have wanted something long term and saw something in me that he didn't like, and that's fair. And his feelings are valid. I would never invalidate anybody's feelings. Like, his feelings are valid. Maybe he's saying, and I do remember him telling me, he did tell me, and I don't remember what I did or anything that I said. I probably said something because, I don't know. Sometimes I can be a little cocky at times and talk my little ish or whatever. But I'm not a cocky person. I just was talking junk. That's just how I am. I talk junk. I play around. But he took it as, you're full of yourself. That's what I remember him telling me, I'm full of myself. And that stuck with me when he was like, you're full of yourself. And I'm like, how am I full of myself? Like, what are you talking about? And I think when he said that, I was telling him about the type of treatment that I felt that I deserved when I'm getting to know somebody and within a relationship. And I think he got offended by that. And he said that I was full of myself. But that's neither here nor there. I had to block him so I wouldn't call him. Now, I did unblock him, like I said, the first time because it was fresh when I blocked him. But I didn't get an answer anyway when I did call, so it didn't matter. Like, and I knew this man's schedule, so I knew when he was home, I knew when he was at work. And me staking out and driving by, or what do you want to do in drive-bys and stuff like that, that went on for at least 2 weeks after that. And I had to get a grip on reality. Like, Ashley, like, let it go. He's not for you. You know what I'm saying? And then my friend, she had said something, and I had to understand this too. I may be too much for him. Like, and sometimes some people, they can't handle you. Like, when you have a big personality or, something like that, they can't handle that. And, yeah, I had to like really sit down with myself, have a sit down with myself and like really evaluate myself and not just him or blame him about, his decision on wanting a break or whatever. Like, I really had to sit with myself and sit in my feelings about the situation. Like, I was really hurt for a long time about that. And it helped me today with, I'm not dating now, but like in today's world, I'll say like how I move and like who I let get close to me and why I am how I am now. So people who know me now, they're like, oh, you're so this, you're so that, you don't let your wall down, or you're not vulnerable enough. Like, I'm vulnerable enough to feel. I can let my wall down enough to feel, but I will never let my wall down that low for someone to play with me. I will never let my wall down that low for a man to play with me again. Like, I've had so many lessons in dating overall, that I just look at it like a checklist, like, oh, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this in the next relationship, or I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that in a partner. Like, you know what I'm saying? So for me, like, my advice to y'all is to be careful out here in these streets. Like, if y'all out here dating, like, pay attention to red flags. Don't wait till they get more red. Like, just definitely pay attention. I could have prevented this. I could have been cut this off. Like, when I seen how he was moving in the beginning and trying to rush me to do things that I didn't feel comfortable doing, or talking about stuff, because you're a whole adult. You don't have to talk about anything that you don't feel comfortable with. Like, no one can make you do anything that you don't want to do. And you have to stand on business and stand your ground. And yeah, just have to learn from it. This definitely was a learning experience. This definitely was a learning experience, and I really wished him well. Like, I wished him well. Today, when I look back on it, I hope he's happy. I hope he found someone that makes him happy. All that. I don't wish no harm or no foul on nobody. You know what I'm saying? It was basically an experience. That's all it is. You can take it. Some people are in your life for a season, and that's what it was. And I learned a lot from that. And I'm not about to be crashing out over nobody's son. I'm not doing it. I don't feel it in my heart to do it. I don't have it in my heart to do it. And yeah, like, that's that or whatever. But let me know if y'all enjoyed this story time. Comment below. Go ahead and subscribe. I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.